Hey Beavs, welcome back to StyledByBeaver. Today is January 11th, so welcome to 2018. Thanks for sticking with me and joining me. I know I did not post much, barely, in 2017. That's my daughter. There's no excuse, and I'm sorry, but I promise to, post a lot more this year. I have a lot of plans. I'm doing a lot, so I'm kind of like all over the place, but I really hope all goes well this year. Let me just turn off my heater. Okay, so I purchased the Subculture Palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. I purchased this on Sephora when they were having their sale basically. So you got 20% off of sale items. This is already on sale, and then I got an extra 20% off. I watched the reviews. I saw when Alissa Ashley used this and was complaining about it, but I really liked the colors, so I passed on it because of the reviews. But I decided, you know what, I want to make my own judgment. Maybe they got because some people had bad reviews and some people had good reviews, so maybe there was good batches and there was bad batches, and let's hope the formula is better. This is my first ever Anastasia Beverly Hills palette. This is my first ever high-end eyeshadow palette as well, so it would kind of suck for my first to be the worst, but I mean, if it is, I kind of saw it coming. So I'm going to be doing an eye look today. If you haven't seen it before, these are the colors. Looks like I stuck a finger in it already, but these are the colors. It comes with a brush and a mirror as well. I'm gonna go for something more on the neutral side today. But yeah, I really hope this palette doesn't fail me. This will be a sped through tutorial just because I'm still kind of working out filming backgrounds and all that stuff, so I hope you guys enjoy it. I already have my eyebrows done. This will only be eyes and lips kind of tutorial. I hope that doesn't bother you guys. Sorry for the long intro as well. Super excited to be recording again, I must say, and I hope you guys like the video. Bye. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is prime my lids with the e.l.f. eyeshadow primer. It's not my favorite, but it's what I have, and I'm trying to finish a lot of my products before I use anything new. So I'm just blending it out onto my eyelids, and then we will go from there. I like the mirror in the Anastasia Beverly Hills palette. That I will definitely say it's very clear. I don't like that this packaging is sweet because it kind of gets dirty fast. So now I'm going to take the brush that's in there, and I'm using the blending side, and I'm going into the shade, I believe it's Roxy. It's like a peachy orange shade, and I'm using that as my transition color. It was a good transition color. I think I would pair it with something else that's a bit more, is it cool tone I'm looking for? Yeah, a little bit, something that's cool toned as well, just so that it balances out that oranginess. This shade blended on pretty nicely. It didn't give me any problems. It didn't disappear or anything like that. It's just kind of when I started applying shadows on top of it, it started to act a little bit strange. So now I'm going in with the shade Dawn, and I'm using the shader side of that brush on the Anastasia Beverly Hills brush, and I'm using that as my eyebrow highlight, so my brow bone highlight. I think the shade is too dark. I think I could have used this as another transitioning color as well, to be honest. I think it's too dark to use as a brow bone highlight for my skin tone. Maybe if you're darker than me, it would work best. It basically didn't show up as much as I would want it to. It didn't really highlight my brow bone either, so yeah. So now I'm going into the shade Fudge. This is where shit got like real. I used too much. That's my first thing. I tapped, it's very pigmented, so when I put my brush into it, I used too much. I put too much on my eyelids, which is why I was struggling to blend it. You really want to go light-handedly into this shadow, especially if you're using the Anastasia Beverly Hills brush, because that brush picks up a lot of product, because you want to be able to blend it. And when you add too much, that's when it gets really hard to blend. So here you see I'm making like a bunch of faces and like looking at my eyes, because it looks good from afar, but up close it looked patchy, and like some places were picking up more pigment than others. It was just really strange. So I'm just blending as much as I can, and I'm actually going back in with Roxy to try and blend it out as much as possible. I even picked up a Gisette brush to try and blend it out as much as I possibly could, and I actually used a clean brush, so there's no product on it. I didn't add product to it, to try and blend it out as much as I could. So now I'm going in with the shade Adorn. It's like this really nice, it's a bronze gold. So it's more on the bronzy side, but it's a really nice gold. It has like a nice orange undertone. And I'm using the shader brush on the shader side of the brush, the Anastasia Beverly Hills brush. I'm applying that to my eyelids and a little bit up into my crease, almost like a cut crease, but without actually cutting my crease. And I'm blending that outwards into my outer V. This shadow applied nicely. It's pigmented. I think it would look even better if it was my brush was wet, or if I used like a what do you call it, like a base, like those what are those things called, like mixing medium, some kind of mixing medium, or even wet my brush to make it look more metallic. And now I'm going back in with Fudge to blend the Adorn and Fudge on the outer V together. Just blend them in together so it's a seamless look and there's no harsh lines. And now I'm going into Roxy to blend on my crease once again because I kept thinking it was too dark. So you can't see because I kind of went out of frame, but I used the shade All Star and I just picked up an e.l.f. eyeshadow brush and I'm blending that onto my lower lash line. It's a burgundy, a really nice burgundy color. This color didn't give me any problems. I think it was really, really nice. So I'm using this to give me a pop of color because my top lid is, or my eyes I should say, are pretty neutral. Just like a nice pop of color without being too dramatic. And now I'm using the Deck of Scarlet eyeliner in the shade Twilight. It is a brown eyeliner. I really like this eyeliner. It applies really nicely. It's creamy, not too creamy, but no, like it's really nice and it lasts. So applying this is from the collaboration with Amy Rose. I believe this is edition number 5. So now I'm going into my Your Lash Bar lashes. These are in the shade Manhattan. They're nice and flirty and very natural looking. I didn't want anything too crazy because I want to, I'm being nice. I don't want anything too crazy, so I applied it with my Joe Fresh lash glue. This is my favorite lash glue so far. I've tried the dual lash glue and I absolutely hate it. This one just works better. It dries fast. It gives me enough time to apply my lashes. So now I'm using the Alissa Ashley lip gloss. It's in the shade Nude Rose. This is the lip gloss she created with, what is it called? e.l.f. And this is the final look. Sorry for the yellow bad lighting. I had like no sunlight today because I usually record with natural light. And my ring light has not come yet. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Okay, so now that my entire face is on and my look is done, I like my eyeshadow look, but let's talk about this palette, guys. The blending is really strange. So you saw that I used a few matte shades. I used Dawn, All Star, I don't think I used New Wave, but I used Fudge and Roxy, and they all blend strange. They're very pigmented, but like Fudge, see how it looks like a nice fudge brown color? When it blends out, it's like super chalky and dark and like kind of patchy on the eyelids. It's kind of strange. At first I was like, maybe it's the Anastasia brush, but I even used my Jessup brush. I don't know, it doesn't have a name, but like it just looks like this, and it was doing the same thing. They're pigmented, they just act kind of weird. Adorn applied nicely on the eyes. I'm pretty sure it would apply even nicer and more metallic if it was wet. But for the most part, I don't hate this palette, but for the amount that you're paying for it, I wish it was better. Out of a 5-star rating, I would definitely give it a 3, just because it's pigmented, but it also has a lot of kickback. There's a lot of kickback, like when you're dabbing your brush in it, it's like just bare powder. Like I don't know if you saw in the video, but I was like every time I dabbed in, I had to like blow away some extra powder. So that's, I'm not a really big fan of. It usually doesn't bother me, but when it's a lot, especially when you're paying this much for a palette, I'm not expecting to have that much kickback. The It's My Riri palette does not even have that much kickback, and it's a affordable palette. Do you get what I'm saying? And I have no blending problems with the It's My Riri palette. So for the most part, I would give it a 3, not even a 3.5, not even a 3.5, a solid 3, because it's pigmented and the color scheme is nice, and I'll give it a star because it's high end, but I wish it didn't have any kickback and the colors blended a bit better. That's all I have to say, to be honest. Alright guys, that's it I have for this video. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up and leave me in the comments, would you purchase this palette, or did you purchase this palette? Did you experience the same kind of issues that I did and other people did, or were you perfectly fine with it? Did it show up on your skin tone and you had no problems? Let me know down in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!